hotter now.
I'm just going to close this door that makes it look like there's a very dark corridor to nowhere behind us the entire time.
I thought that's where we were going, the dark corridor to nowhere.
I mean, you can think of a lighthouse as a vertical dark corridor to nowhere.
Nice, warm, dry.
Yeah, because it goes nowhere. Just goes up and then stops.
Creaky.
If it actually ended somewhere, then...
this is the lighthouse to Birmingham.
I can't produce actual flame, only radiant flame.
Oh. So yes,
I'm saying I can't make a fire.
You've all just entered the lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the strange markings on the floor. They seem to just be irregular. I'll allow for investigation rolls on that. However, everyone, I'm going to say, because it wasn't very well masked, has heard a creak from some level upstairs.
Okay.
It's impossible to tell exactly where from, and you're in a room of just bric-a-brac with knickknacks, books, chairs. It looks like the box room of a house, or this is where the stuff that doesn't belong elsewhere has gone. Cool. And you also... any more detail about the room would require investigation rolls.
May I investigate the markings on the floor?
Sure.
That is a 13.
13? They must be to do with the floor itself, because they're not markings that make sense out of context, as it were. There's definitely... Someone hasn't taken a symbol from elsewhere and put it on the floor.
Is it things that have been moved and left markings where they've moved, or where they've been
The
left
markings
sitting?
are too irregular for that. They don't match the shapes of things. It's very much different shapes of blob.
Is it chalk?
With different outcrops.
Scratching?
Yeah.
Chalk.
Do these look like anything to you?
They look like blobs.
A small child may have drawn them in some sort of boredom. Possibly.
Maybe your patron has more insight.
Who? What patron? I don't have a patron.
Your dream person.
That's not a person. There's lots of them.
Maybe they have some insight regardless.
Is there a way that you ever reach out into, or is it just that those kind of waking dreams come to you when they're needed?
I mean, I could ask them if things are going to be bad or good in the next, 10 minutes. But it expends quite a lot of energy and doesn't feel really worth it.
I am confused.
I don't think it would change our plan, really, would it?
No.
If it's going to be bad or good, would we do anything differently?
No.
I think
Probably not then.
I thought I heard movement upstairs. Maybe there is
We
something
should,
that can be checked.
Yeah,
I mean,
someone might
my
be home.
instincts make
We
me
already
think
doing
it's
that,
going
sorry.
to be bad.
I'm going to have been.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you up to, Steve?
But while that conversation is going on, I would like to investigate, or figure out the ways people would come down from upstairs. What is it like? Did you mention a ladder that I saw earlier? Is
That
it
was
a
in the next
ladder all
room
the
up
way
upstairs.
down, or is it? Is
There
there just the
doesn't
one?
seem to be a ladder all the way down. It seems to be that in this space there is a ladder between here and the next room up. Roll me just a general investigation for looking at entry points into the room.
Sure, it's investigation.
What would you like it to be? It's not
Anything
acrobatics.
other than investigation.
Could be perception, maybe?
I'd allow perception.
Oh, I'm percepting then.
You're percepting like hell.
I am just all of the perceive. 14.
Cool. Yes, what you can see is there is a rudimentary ladder on the opposite side of the space. So you can tell from where you were looking before that it's ladders in different levels and ladders in slightly different orientations each level. You also notice a trapdoor in this space, having been looking kind of at entry points and how someone would come down. That actually takes your vision down to a smallish trapdoor that's near the base of that ladder.
Right. Okay.
But that seems to be how someone, and basically at the top of that ladder is a small, what looks like a trapdoor that you would just you can't see.
Right.
You can't see straight into the next.
So there's a trapdoor
ceiling.
there, so there will be a ladder in the trapdoor.
We'll have to knock again for the next one, in case they didn't hear that one.
I think we should stop knocking.
Well, they won't know we're here. We don't want to surprise anyone, do we?
I don't think we want them to know we're here.
If there is a person here, they are leaving food outside, and they are not letting people light the light at the top of the lighthouse. I am not sure their intentions will be good.
Maybe we should block off the trapdoor and just stay here until the storm passes then.
I think we should go and talk to them.
I thought you didn't want them to know we were here.
I think we should go and talk to them without them knowing that we're here before we get to them.
Surprise them.
I would be quite alarmed if someone was talking to me and I didn't know they were there.
You would be quite alarmed.
Yes, mildly
Does
mildly
anything
concerned.
not
even.
alarm you?
Oh yeah, non-alarming things generally are not cause for concern, based on past experience. So you don't want to knock. You want to sort of burst through a small hole in the floor and say, "Gotcha!"
No, I don't want to say gotcha.
That would give it away. No, I see. That would
There's
give it
more
away.
creaking from upstairs. Everyone definitely hears it.
Is it 1 floor up, 2 floors up? What kind of sense can we get of how far away it is from us?
You get a sense that it's not the immediate floor above you. You get a sense it's a bit further away, and that maybe someone just, I don't know, probably fell over because it's an awkward sound, and it's definitely not subtle.
Someone's had
They
a
rolled a
fall.
4.
Oh, I do need to check my plants actually now that we're going to get my backpack off. Start taking out some cactuses and a
I think if someone
peace lily
upstairs needs
and a fern.
help, we should go upstairs.
I think that the floor above us is not, well, certainly as of a few minutes ago, there was no one there. It sounds like they may be further up. Maybe we could ascend a level and...
See what's there.
Exactly.
Just going to pour any excess water out of the pots because they were submerged for quite
Oh
a while.
yeah, they're really
Don't think
really
sea
waterlogged.
water is very, very good.
They're
for,
not.
for cacti especially, I would have thought.
Yeah, they're all looking pretty rough. all
Has
of your
anyone
plants.
got any water?
You last then. Would you like to go first or shall I?
I'm more than happy to go first.
You're looking thoughtful.
There were boxes around this room.
Oh yeah, there's random boxes and crates
Can I open
and
one?
Can
sure.
I look
No.
for water in them?
I just go to the nearest one and just prise a nail. I've got quite clawed hands,
Yeah.
so prise a nail and just try and open them up.
Sure. You open it up.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of robes and clothes. Roll. I guess this is kind of a history thing to it's not a high DC.
11.
They look monkish. They look like the kind of stuff that you've seen monks in the past. There's a lot of wrappings and such, like, and kind of loose fitting things to be able to move in. But this one seems like it's entirely clothes.
What's it?
Monkish is in
The
like...
clothes of a religious order.
Monkish.
is in like D&D monk.
Yes.
Not like...
The clothes of a
D&D
religious
monk.
order that like fighting a lot.
That's what appears to be in this box.
Can I draw a connection between the movement and actions I have seen of our compatriot here and these things here, or can I not do that?
When you say that, do you mean, can you assume that he's a
Well,
monk?
Can I assume he's a monk from what I've seen so far of his movements and his climbing, for example, which is specifically monk-like climbing?
Maybe.
Would
The
you
climbing was only a 30. Like, the climbing wasn't the most monk-like climbing you've ever seen.
In which case I won't draw
But-
that connection because I haven't seen you be that monk-like yet, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to like
If
meta that too much.
If I hear that, though, I would probably draw my attention to
Mm.
them and maybe to the floor as well.
Okay.
The markings on the floor. Can I roll religion to see
Religion?
if I can pick
Sure,
anything
sure.
up?
Can I look for water in this room?
Sure. Roll investigation.
17.
So you've rolled religion?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, you look at this and you go, the markings on the floor are not religious at all. And the monk clothes have quite generic. Or it might be one from Ansafal that you're not familiar with, but it's not a religion that you immediately identify or know.
Chloe, are they movements transcribed by feet of people doing religious kata or monkey exercises or that sort of thing? Are they not?
Like,
I mean, good guess.
would anyone
Fucking
like?
detective, I should be doing this shit.
I'll let you, because you're a detective, right?
Yeah, I can make investigation checks to uncover or decipher clues more readily than
Okay. What I'll allow you to do is make a kind of investigation, which is basically a deduction, like a process of deduction. A lot of things have been ruled out by you and your friends, so you can then kind of go into that. You're looking for water in this. 21.
Fresh water.
Fresh water?
Well, like, I will taste it when I find it and find out if it's fresh, but I'm not going to pour it on my plants unless it is. And the peace lily is very sensitive.
You can't find, the most you can get is that, like, there is a slate pool by the door where the ice from outside starts to melt because inside it's a lot warmer.
Ice would be. I'll get some ice.
Just like kind of, yeah,
and
awkwardly.
collect some ice
away
and
it.
put some ice on the top of the
Mhm.
pots and put them back in my backpack.
29.
29. Okay. You suddenly realise that you've been looking at the marks when you should have been looking at the floor on either side of the marks, and the marks seem to mark out some kind of weakness in the floor. They look at, it's where this place has decayed, it's where this place has rotted, and it is someone who has needed to make sure that they remember, don't step there, avoid that bit, don't go here, this bit maybe. And that's why it's kind of weird, misshapen blobs.
Have we been
They are spaces to be avoided.
Have we been stepping in them already though?
That's what your D4 roll was for, was basically do you barrel straight into the room, through and into one of them. But for now, I've allowed that basically, because you've basically just been observing stuff and you've gone over to boxes and things like that, which wouldn't have been left in a place that was damaged.
Okay.
These are weak points in the floor.
Oh, so don't tread on them.
I would not advise it. I do not know what is beneath. There is a trapdoor, yes.
It sounds to me really like there might be someone here who needs help.
This is also true. I am just making sure of walking into strange chalk markings on floors.
Like, it sounds really like there might be someone here who's really trying their very hardest to keep this lighthouse going, and it's not working.
I will be honest, the thought of climbing a ladder is filling me with some dread.
Well,
Would you
maybe
like?
leave that to me then.
Would you like?
Is that your kind of cue to be like, leave that to me, and just like
Ba-ba-da-ba.
show off your
And do
ladder
the
climbing?
usual, I'm not as good at this as I apparently think I am. And just roll really badly
What
at
were you
climbing
checking,
ladders.
I'm gonna cast enhance ability on you. And give you cat's grace.
It won't help me with climbing a ladder.
It will. Advantage on dexterity checks.
Athletics to climb ladders.
Depends how you climb it.
But you've said that the problem is that you can't move properly.
Correct.
So I'm increasing
Yeah,
your dexterity
I
so you can move
would
better.
allow that because of how it interacts with your particular
And there's something
physical
we've done before.
problem.
This is like you'll help me out if I'm in a bad way physically. Cool. Then it's
You also don't take damage from falling 20 feet or less.
oh good. It's
I'm
a
in these rooms.
it's a sort of a unclicking of the fingers a bit, and yes, thank you, my friend. And I'll start. Well, if you're climbing the ladder, I'll follow. But
Okay.
You're not following
Yeah.
before me.
So we're not going to knock, just to
I'm also going.
clarify. We're not going to knock, and we're not going to say gotcha. So what?
Yes, are you trying to go up stealthily?
Yes.
I will happily try and be stealthy about things.
If you both could roll me stealth checks.
I'm also going.
Cool.
Anyone
who
with
is-
advantage, it's a
Oh.
dex check.
Anyone who heads up, if you could roll me a stealth check.
Guidance.
Oh.
Natural 20.
Cool.
19.
19.
Then
That's 27.
I'll wait until the not everyone's got
You
Let
got
me
the
one run
hoops.
up, yeah. So, you managed to also
17.
apply exactly the right amount of pressure to this trapdoor to let yourself up, and you all incredibly quietly, which is kind of a miracle given like the various creaks and how the age of this lighthouse, you raise yourself up into the next space. You will immediately see that there's again not quite as many, but there's again chalk marks on the floor, and as described to you earlier, there is a table, there are buckets of water, there is a burner in the corner, the entire room is circular. There is another ladder across the way, and there are various bits and pieces. It's a little bit neater than downstairs, but there's also 4 boxes that appear to be locked with padlocks that are a mixture of wood and stone, I believe. And did you say you were kind of waiting until it was a bit more clear?
Yeah.
Cool. Stealth, plus.
Nice.
18.
Cool. Same again. And there's also a few notes kind of scattered around this area.
Can I make the assumption that this is a living space because of the bucket of water in the burner?
You can make the assumption that it's definitely partially used as a living space. It was definitely originally designed as one and still gets some use.
Can I look at some of the notes?
Sure.
Pick up a note.
Pick up a note. The note... Well, roll me an investigation, and this is more to like find the more useful notes, to not like just pick up a note that says, "Oh, shopping" or something like that.
As a 16.
Cool. You find one. It's got weird sketches of drips and of blobs and of kind of someone trying to draw amorphous shapes, but then getting it wrong somehow and trying to redraw amorphous shapes. And then there's some written notes on the back, which just make notes about acid, metal boxes useless, and a sketch of a metal box that looks like it was corroded, or something like that.
Is the box on the table?
Hmm?
Is the box one of the 4 boxes on the table?
You can see the remains of a 5th box on the table, but the boxes on the table are wooden and stone.
Can I investigate the
Curious.
water?
There is also actually, sorry, just because it's one that I forgot to mention, there is what looks like a glass case, but nothing is in it, and they're all
Ooh.
about that big. Sorry, Shamini said
I was just going to go smell and then taste the water.
it's clean.
And then I'm just going to attempt to wash my roots out a little bit, just because I don't think there's salt on my plants. I'm getting the back off slowly.
Are you still trying to do this stealthily?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, very stealthily.
Could you please roll me a stealth check for washing your hair?
Plants.
guy.
I'm trying to wash the salt water
Oh, I thought
out
you meant
of
the
them.
roots.
Yeah.
I thought
Not
you meant
those
your
roots.
roots.
No.
Okay.
No, my plants.
Sorry, your plants. Okay,
Yes.
roll me a stealth check for washing your plants.
6.
Pretty, like, she's quite noisy as you're inspecting various things. You hear, like, all this kind of
I'm
slurping and
muttering
slopping.
to the plants.
Yeah.
There, Cliff. We'll get you nice and clean in no time.
Do you share-
Nasty salt, do we?
Do you share your findings?
I think there is something dangerous in these boxes. These notes describe acid, which destroyed that one.
Put the 5th one behind.
There are kinds of acid that do not burn through stone or glass, but that one is empty.
Is it that there's something inside the boxes that's dangerous, or that the boxes are protecting something and it needs to not be burnt through by acid? Because as we've discovered, weather here, not good.
This is also a good point. It could be the other way around.
Because if I was a lighthouse keeper here and I was worried about protecting, the light, and suddenly it started raining acid, I might be concerned about things that protect from acid.
Interesting.
Well, let's look in the box and see if it's either acid or something that might need protecting from acid.
It could be something living. There are creatures that secrete acid as well.
Can I, are any of the boxes moving in any way? Is there any kind of, like, rattle or anything like that if I walk up to them and listen?
I'll allow you to listen. Roll me a perception.
Sure. Sorry.
So you're
Perception.
kind of going ear to each box.
Yep. That is a
They don't whisper at you as you're trying to listen.
13.
13.
They're
Um,
suspiciously quiet.
They
so that's
are.
helpful.
They are suspiciously quiet.
All 4 boxes just okay.
Unsuspiciously quiet, surely. Surely you'd want them to be quiet.
Well, this
E-
person.
everything in this lighthouse kind of radiates suspiciousness.
Oh no.
Whatever is in these boxes, we should check upstairs before doing anything with them if there is someone in need of aid.
Well, yes, someone fell.
Good point. I put my
Unless
plants back in my
whatever
backpack.
was in that box, and possibly the glass one as well, is what is making the noise upstairs.
Let's go sneaky sneak and find out.
Dangerous things don't tend to fall over.
Seems a broad and sweeping statement.
I mean, like, I fall over, but I'm not especially dangerous.
What if you were a very angry but very clumsy elephant?
Can I make a suggestion? You can.
What would you say if we said no?
I would say nothing. You are allowed to say no.
I wouldn't like to say no. I'd quite like to hear the suggestion.
I was joking.
Oh.
You are very fast and can climb well, yes.
Yes.
Could you climb up, open the trapdoor, and then we wait, and if something comes through and it is dangerous, we can assault from afar.
Let it rain acid on us from above? Through a small hole?
You can cast spells through small holes.
Not if I can't see what's above.
Interesting. I think it would be advantageous instead of us all trying to combat something while on a ladder.
I mean, I can talk to it in its mind if I can see it.
Interesting.
We could all take defensive positions, and I'm sure I could jump and use my quarterstaff to open the trapdoor and stay clear of any acid drops that would come down.
Just ask them to come down if we're going to do that. So, excuse me.
I think it is a good plan. Defensive positions.
Defensive, right.
Hide the cat.
I get out a stapler.
Don't put the cat in a box. I've heard that ends badly for the cat.
Only half the time. And you can't tell him.
So what's your exact plans of movements?
What is there to hide behind?
You can hide behind the table, the burner, the chairs. Those are the main things in the room. There's like one stack of crates near the corner that you could hide behind.
I go behind the stack of crates.
Cool.
I'm going to hide somewhere where I can still see up through the trapdoor if necessary.
Your best bet would be to move a chair nearer the base of
That's
the
what I'm going
ladder.
to do.
And
Yes.
yep.
Well, my stapler is kind of a short range weapon, so I'm just going to stand near the bottom with my stapler.
So you're standing near the bottom, but not
directly.
hiding behind
Your weapon's a
anything.
stapler.
One of them.
Yep. And Steve.
You look a bit aggressive. Could you look a bit less aggressive?
I'll put the stapler away and get out a fountain pen.
And so Mel's going to be climbing up. Yes.
I think probably is there enough room for him to kind of use his wings to kind of hover a bit, or is it too?
If you rolled a sufficient dex check, you could hover so that your head was up and out through the trapdoor. But the trapdoor's only kind of broad enough for just past shoulders. Wings will struggle.
Not trying to actually get up to see. It's more opening it swiftly and moving out of the way of anything that may come down.
Okay, yeah, I'll allow that because you're not trying to. Yep.
Cool.
Behind the crates, because I'm a rogue, can I roll a stealth check to hide?
Yes. I'll allow anyone that's trying to hide to roll stealth. 12.
How am I hiding better than you? 16. Behind a chair in the middle of the room.
12, 16.
Clear
You're not
before one
hiding,
chair.
you're just there ready.
Casually with my fountain pen.
Okay. And you're just gonna
kind of fly up, like tuck and roll halfway through, and
Nice.
bang up with the
Yeah.
quarterstaff, and then
Nice,
kind
nice.
of float back down onto a non-blobby enclosed area.
roll me acrobatics.
Yes.
That's a very cool.
Because I mean that's a cool move to do.
No.
Because you can't see.
Anytime I try and do anything monk-like,
It's totally there in your head.
That's because you're supposed to use key points for those.
That's absolutely true. If you use step of the wind,
I mean-
you're probably fine.
it's got +7 to acrobatics. It shouldn't be that hard.
There's a 1 on the dice. Anyway, so what I'm gonna say, because I mean your aim was to do this really slickly. I think what happens is, okay, it's gonna be great. You do the tuck, you do the roll, you with the quarterstaff, you knock that open. Something falls directly on top of you and slams down onto the floor.
Oh no!
You take.
Oh.
You only take 1 point of damage.
I mean, that's
as
mainly
anyone
to
else,
my pride.
You don't immediately see what has fallen on top of you, but anyone else who's in the space who was kind of watching can see that there is actually a human person, very short mop of black hair and quite kind of messy, everyday commoner style clothes, is just in a pile on top of Mel.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Oh.
Well,
don't panic. You've
No,
taken a fall.
Stop talking. Are you okay?
no, but well, no, but sorry, and gets off of you.
They're in no way aggressive, yes.
No.
Okay, come out from behind the crates.
This is we mean you no harm.
No, I
Apart from
get
we
that.
accidentally opened a trapdoor with you standing on top of it. That was unfortunate.
That's my fault. I should have moved. I was listening and I didn't move fast enough.
If maybe you had some safety rope around the trapdoor area, it would be more difficult to accidentally stand on something that could potentially move.
This is
Subramanian.
Okay.
who is very concerned with safety regulations, which we can talk about later.
Could be of great benefit in this
Which we
case,
can
I
talk
think.
about later.
Why were you listening?
Sorry. You're first people and you're talking about safety regulations.
She's talking about safety regulations.
That's
We're much
kind of-
more concerned about the
would be kind of
magical
funny.
piles of food and
Oh yeah.
the holes in the floor.
Extremely wasteful.
Yeah.
The storm outside.
Very dangerous. Don't go out there, you'll get hit by lightning.
And that the boat
Okay.
that we were coming over here on is probably destroyed.
We are the first people.
In a few weeks, yeah.
Could you tell us your name?
My name's Daria.
Hi Daria.
Hi.
Do you require medical assistance of some kind after your fall?
I'll be fine. Don't worry. I'll be fine. And just like kind of holds themselves, in a weird. It's like it's awkward. It's weirdly awkward for them to even hold themselves, and you just see like this it's faint, and it's almost, rather than where some people it would be like a pulse of light, it's like a weird flicker that slightly stutters and staggers, and they look a little bit better.
Would you like a
Alright.
chair?
Did you cast the
Thanks.
Did you cast the create food and water outside?
Well, I mean, I cast it, yeah, and then it
You made too
Things-
much.
it's somehow it didn't work, and so I just had to throw it out. Yeah.
Maybe we should not ask quite so many questions all at once.
Are you
I'd like to sit down cross-legged next to her, just calm.
sorry, is
It's them.
Next to them, sorry.
Sorry. Who are you? What kind of things can you do?
I'm Ananta.
Ananta, right? And you?
Joyous.
Sorry, that's funny.
Yes.
Sorry.
In my tribe, I was the clown.
Right. So Joyous, Ananta,
Subramanian, it's so nice to meet you.
Subramanian, right?
Yes.
And you are
My name is Mel.
Mel.
And this is Watson.
And animal handling, I guess. Is Watson normally quite friendly?
Yes.
Kind of tries to pet it normally, but struggles. But Watson is fine.
Yeah.
Watson isn't kind of perturbed by it.
Why do you need to know our abilities?
was wondering if you could help.
With what?
Probably.
The thing in the lantern room.
There's a what
Um,
now?
There's a thing in the lantern room, and I can't deal with it on my own.
Oh.
What does it do?
Well, I don't. It killed Locava, who was we ran the lighthouse.
They're outside.
Yeah.
We are terribly sorry for your loss.
Thanks. Sometimes it. I think it's the thing in the lantern room. Sometimes it like taunts you, or me. It can put images in your head,
Oh dear.
and it taunts me with images, with like pictures of Locava, and yeah, and it just like hurts you.
Can I try and talk to Locava?
What?
I'm talking to you, Chloe.
Yeah.
Not the NPC. Through the dream. I'm a great
Ooh.
cleric.
Yeah, I'd allow that. What does it look like when you attempt to talk to someone?
I'm probably not actually talking in real life. I'm probably glazed over, and my eyes probably do go like white.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's almost just like kind of a waking dream. So this half-elf monk, dressed in similar clothes to the clothes that were in the box on the ground floor, is actually currently hunched over one of the boxes. And because they're only kind of half there, you see them, it's like they're opening the box and they're looking at what's inside the box, but that's not actually opening the box in real life, it's just you see this. And everyone else kind of fades back a little bit into something of a blur, just like with a soft kind of glow around them, and Locava is the most clear thing, and you see this golden blonde hair pulled back and braided, with those clothes and very little else, no kind of piercings, nothing else, this elven woman just staring through the box and stuff, and might be responsive if you start talking, but right now is just looking at these things.
I don't mean to alarm you. I appreciate this is probably not common here.
Okay.
I have a favour to ask.
Favours I can do?
The thing that killed you,
Yes.
what was it like?
It was scared. And it didn't mean it, but it didn't understand. It was not there and then it was. I didn't see it approach, I didn't see it take me, and then it just surrounded me. And all I felt was its fear as it tried to hold on to me, and I was no longer there.
Thank you.
Just goes back to the box.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Help them.
I'll try. I'll fade back into you.
Fades back, everyone else fades back in. For everyone else, that's been half a second of you just glazing over.
Have you attempted to depart this locale with this danger?
If I go, then no one can run. No one can. I have to stay here so I can keep it stuck up there. Because if it's not stuck up there, then I'm not quite sure where it'll go or what it will do.
Oh, how are you maintaining a boundary?
Sorry, talking's really hard when you've not done it for a while. You know, I could show you. It just sounds really. It's awkward to describe.
I think it's scared.
What?
Whatever it is, I think it's afraid.
Afraid of what?
I don't know.
It's probably afraid of the ice. Of that. I mean, that's. I have a thing in the underneath in the below the ground that helps keep it cold because it doesn't like cold.
That helps keep what cold?
The land. The thing it's I swear it's like some kind of a disease, and then I used to study medicine and things, and so I knew that if you keep a disease cold, then it can't spread as much, and so I did what I could to make something to help keep the place cold.
Is this to do with the boxes?
No, the boxes I've been trying to figure out if the boxes are bits of it.
The boxes are pieces of it. It is made up of boxes.
No, it's not. No, they're inside.
Ah, what is inside the boxes?
Pieces of it.
Is it dangerous?
Yes, but sometimes you can. Sorry, I'm bad at this, and.
Can I roll an insight check to see how much of this is genuine?
Sure. If anyone else wants to roll any insight checks or anything on Daria, you're more than welcome to.
That is 19.
19. As far as you can tell, Daria is very genuine, though simultaneously overwhelmed, and with an insight roll that high. It's hard to do this without just being like, here's the mechanics.
Yep.
Daria looks very exhausted, almost 2 levels of exhausted. Like the bags under their eyes and just the way that their hair is kind of falling around their face, the pallor to their skin, everything speaks of exhaustion and being overwhelmed.
When is the last time you slept?
It's 5 hours ago.
So something came here.
Well, it was. I guess so. I just want to check because you were going to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to roll. I can't remember the name of the other person.
Locava.
I wanted to roll insight on what on their reaction on. Basically, I wanted to gauge the relationship between them when Locava's name is mentioned, but it hasn't. Been mentioned.
Okay.
So
we'll keep it logged in so that
when
when that happens, you can make that roll. It kind of. To be honest, I've suddenly realised I have to say that name now, which feels really hokey.
Perfect.
Locava had was gifted these things by there was this captain. Sometimes captains give the lighthouse keepers gifts as luck, and gave Locava these little creatures or something, and then somehow they merged.
Okay.
And they became something different, and then
you made the land cold because they wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I thought, as far as I could tell, it was like some kind of disease, and I tried and it worked. So,
forgive me for asking. Are you a wizard?
No, I'm a cleric.
Would
I believe they're a cleric.
you,
I swear that's what I think they are.
Would anyone else be able to sustain some of this prevention method, such that perhaps you could just have a little rest? We
I
could.
think it's something in the basement that's doing it. They
Oh.
said.
It has to be reset each day, and I don't see how there can't be someone here always doing it to stop it, unless there's some other way to stop it.
Could we try talking to it?
If you want to, I mean, like I said, there's more of you. Whenever I've tried, I haven't really wanted to.
It does.
just-
It does kill
That's
people,
reasonable.
right?
And it
so
shows them visions, yes.
that seems.
Yeah, it shows me images of Lakeva.
Alright.
I think that's what it is. I think it's it doing it.
Can you help them rest? It might be sensible.
I can't.
Where would the safest place for you to be?
It shows you visions of Lakeva, I think because it knows Lakeva. What did it show you visions of Lakeva doing?
It just shows Lakeva and me. Feel free to roll insight.
I mean, I did earlier.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But it was terrible.
Oh, okay.
But this is a bigger mention, so maybe I could roll again.
Well, what was your terrible roll?
9.
9. You're pretty sure that they're partners, but it was a bad roll.
It was a very bad roll.
Yeah, I'm afraid that because of that initial bad roll, that's the road that you're going down.
Are they bad memories?
No. But it keeps me awake and won't show me anything apart from us just together. And I tell it to stop and it won't. But I don't know what it understands.
It can make visions in your head even down here, when you are a long way away from it.
No, not normally when I'm a little bit higher. But all the traps are upstairs, so it's better.
Can we?
I think... What do you think?
I think it might have Lakeva's memories. I think it might be trying to talk to you.
Roll persuasion.
I have advantage on all persuasion rolls.
Sure. Then roll persuasion with advantage. Oh, was that a clash talking?
Good at the talkie.
Ah,
I chose one skill and I chose persuasion.
Yeah.
very fair.
It's 2 15s.
Nice.
Go.
Sorry, I add to that. 21.
21. In the meantime, roll another d20 because your fortune was about bonds and reaching out and friendship, and this is you trying to gain more about a person. So it feels like it's the right time for you to get that extra d20.
Just flat d20.
No, it's a refreshed insight roll.
Refresh insight. 21. 21.
Cool.
Nice.
Good friends, just people who worked together and cared about each other deeply, and were friends, but ones who were close enough that they could stand being lighthouse keepers in the middle of nowhere together. So you get that.
Okay.
21. Do you know about things like this?
They can see into dreams.
I spoke to Lakeva.
Wait, what?
I know it's strange. It's not something I do often. I just asked them about what happened.
And she said it's got my memories.
She told me that it was afraid, that she could feel its fear, and that it came out of nowhere. and she asked me to help you.
Okay.
I don't know if we can talk to it,
I don't know either.
but it feels worth a try.
This is your area, you know it best. I think, in terms of practicality, it would be advisable for you to rest and to leave us an opportunity to see if we can change this situation. This is not maintainable. You are very tired. It will only get worse.
We could ask it to go somewhere else.
I'm worried that if it goes somewhere else, it's just gonna kill someone else, or like spread again, or
We need
you
more
can go
information.
into.
We need more information.
You can go in upstairs if you want.
You said traps.
I should show you what.
You said traps.
Could we
Yeah.
perhaps make a list of the current situation, what needs to be refreshed, what needs to be done to maintain the status quo? If you can pass some of that workload off onto us, that could give you a bit of a break. I think that'd probably be a good idea at this point. Then from that basis, we can work to move forward with the plan vis-a-vis discussing with the potential creature. Are you all right?
That feels like a lot of red tape to jump through.
Yeah, it's weird. You remind me so much of the boss at my first job. It's just weird.
Ow. Very, very successful leader, were they?
They just always said vis-a-vis. Just about everything. It's just weird. It's weird.
She is very precise.
Right. But listen, I can show you where the traps are. A couple of floors above. I have it
Why
so
don't
that it
you-
can't get in when I'm there.
Why don't you give notes to...
I will draw out some sort of a workflow, perhaps divide the roles.
I think just practical notes on these traps might be advantageous.
Indeed.
And Daria takes you through, basically helps you draw out a little sketch of the room, which is like a kind of rudimentary bedroom, and just goes, oh, I mean, it's such a shame. It's like Home Alone, but just even more rudimentary. It's just like, the bell by the far wall, if you hit this, then and there's like a bit where it sprays like some paint up, and it'll pull all of the windows open, and suddenly all the cold will come into the room. There's the bit that you're going to need to, if you trigger this, then there's a thing that springs up and it'll spikes, but you wouldn't get hit by the spikes because you're in the room, but you'd get hit by it on the and just goes through all these weird little different things they've made up.
And so the top level is all traps which don't need refreshing or maintaining, they just exist. So that's one level of events.
And you're also asking about what needs to be kept going.
Yes. Yeah.
Daria then
jobs.
describes to you a cavern, a small cavern that exists underneath the lighthouse. And in there they say there is something that they managed to make with bits of debris from nearby ships, as well as items in the lighthouse that were no longer needed. And what they've created, they just describe it as it's different moving pieces of wood and metal. There are some small bits of quartz that they had that they've embedded into the walls of the cavern. And then the machine, they managed to make something, but they just don't have enough things to make more of these machines, and their brain doesn't work as well now because they're always so tired. There are little pieces of metal that flick over a small barrel that plays kind of what felt like the right tune, and there's engravings that they managed to make on the pieces of metal, and it all kind of just like spins and clocks round, and it's a small machine that basically creates movement, creates sound, and has components, and is a way of amplifying basically a spell that creates ice, inspired by like Wall of Ice and Ice Storm and those kind of things, that keeps going, but it has to be rewound and refreshed each day.
Physically or magically?
Physically.
Oh, that's all right then.
Because
Once per day, wind up the ice machine.
yeah, because it
Once
has
per day,
components
wind up
and
the ice
words and
machine.
sound.
I resist asking about the intellectual property rights of the ice machine.
Can you roll a wisdom saving throw?
To resist asking about.
Yeah, to have self-control.
God damn it! Oh boy. Natural 20!
Hey!
So much
Someone else wants to ask
self-control.
about the intellectual property rights.
Make note. Ask later about intellectual property rights.
And so yeah,
And so that's actually holding it back, and the traps do the traps need to be reset if it comes down, like every so often? Is
yeah.
that part of the job is resetting
Yeah,
them if
you
it
get the
has to
sense that
through?
basically that's to help Daria feel safe as well. That they would get a heads up if it started to move downwards.
Does it do that? Is that a part of the situation?
Roll insight as you talk to Daria, and they kind of just make sure to give you all of the details and stuff like that.
11.
That's right. It's hard for them to hide. A lot of it's driven by paranoia.
Yeah.
There's no clear instance that they can ever get to. It's always just saying, yeah, but I think there was one time, and it's hard because you can never see it. And
Daria, could your machine be causing the storms?
I don't know. We have like sea threats, and we've always had those, but it's only made to just make everything cold. But I don't know if you make everything cold, whether that changes the weather further. I don't know.
Do you have the ability to calm their emotions?
No.
I may be able to help in that respect, in a non-magical sense.
I think that would be advisable.
What?
I have lived quite a long life now. I have many memories. I have become quite adept at dealing with some of the more troublesome ones. Tell me, what is your strongest positive memory of Tilakaba?
Look over here. It sounds really stupid. There was just a night where, for a few months, everything had been a lot, and there'd been a lot of storms, and so we'd had to be extra vigilant, and we hadn't really seen that much of each other because we'd been on rotations, so that she could make sure she checked on the lantern room while I was sleeping, and vice versa. And then there were some days where it was so much quieter that we weren't worried about the lights getting blown out, and she just made this stew. It was just really nice, and we just didn't do anything. Just kind of sat there with each other.
Sometimes just the presence of a friend, of a loved one of any kind, can be the best experience, the best memory. And while he's been listening to this, he's pulled out a kind of long cotton thread and a small silver round thing, and he's threaded it through a few times to make it into a loop. Those are the memories you need to concentrate on. Those are the memories you need to hold close. Whenever anything else comes into your head, hold on to these ones. He said, may I?
Yeah.
It sounds like the love the two of you shared was different from many of my loves, but it should be noted nonetheless.
Thank you. So I don't really know what to say.
Why don't you rest and leave this to us?
I'll try. I might not be able to, but Yeah, see what you can do. You seem to understand stuff that I don't.
You mentioned stew. Is there?
Later.
Don't know how long we'll be here.
Later. We can have stew later.
Well, we can reconvene vis-a-vis the stew.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
So, up more ladders.
Up more ladders.
Yeah. Sorry, Dara has also told you that there's more of the chalk markings, and as you get higher, there's some chalk markings on the ceiling, which just show where the ceiling's a little bit dodgy, and you want to kind of avoid standing underneath it.
Right, I do have a list here of the traps and things to avoid. If you would all listen to the safety briefing.
I think we should just walk.
Should you go ahead, since you know where to stand?
We'll just follow you.
Not as effective as a full safety briefing, but in this case, I suppose we can cut a few corners.
There are no corners to a lighthouse.
Very good point.
Someone's already cut them off.
Weirdly, that decayed, corroded metal box, it's almost like there's just a corner left. So there is a solitary corner just in the room. So are you heading up?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Cool. If you want to investigate particular levels, do just say. Otherwise, because you
Are
go...
we avoiding all the traps and things as we go?
Yeah, there's only... The next room up... Is that the one that's all trapped? No, there's one that's like a kind of adapted living space that has various... It has shelves and shelves and shelves. A lot of them are empty jars, and then there's things where it's... Anyone who's like familiar with an apothecaries or something like that, it's kind of a lot of materials and supplies like that, but obviously a lot have been used up and kind of books and things scattered about. But there's not a huge amount in here. And then, you know from things that Daria has told you, that there is a trapped room just above, which is where they often sleep, because they need to know as soon as possible if anything is happening with the creature. They haven't actually named it or ever given it a particular name. And then once you're in the trapped room, you can look up and there are slight holes, only ever about that big.
Yep.
Very small, but you notice that the floor is almost a little bit pockmarked. You can see a little bit more lateral light kind of coming through some of the slats because directly above is the lantern room.
And the lantern is on? No.
No, it's just the natural light of the fact that the storm outside is still there, but it's clearing, so there's kind of greyish, lightish grey clouds rather than super dark clouds. And there is another ladder and trapdoor.
And we're through all the traps. There's no like open this trapdoor the wrong way and you get something bad happens.
You are through all the traps.
Okay.
Yes. Daria did give you a comprehensive list.
It seems we should consider our next steps carefully.
I just need to be able to see it.
Once again, I would like to propose opening negotiations with some form of knocking or alternative greeting.
I think knocking would be good. I just need to be able to see it.
Great.
There are little holes
Knocking.
that you can try and peer up if you want to.
That doesn't seem like a bad plan.
Can you see through the holes?
Can I see through the holes?
If you basically are on the floor below and you're angling yourself, then you can use them to try and kind of go, oh, okay. Because the lantern room is just one big thing in that room. So if you want... and what I will allow is for you to roll with advantage as a reference to your fortune of being enlightened
Can I give myself
and
guidance?
discovery.
Enlightened.
Can I give myself guidance as well?
Sure. Yeah, enlightened. Lantern room. I had not specifically saved it for that. I swear.
Never mind.
Perception. That is 22.
Nice.
What you realise, looking up, and some of the things that Daria said, and kind of going, that there's a weird quality to some of the light in the space. There is something up there, but that thing is, for want of a better word, it is invisible. so you notice that light refracts slightly weirdly at a couple of points, and there is something that covers at least half of that upper space, but it is an invisible thing.
Can I still speak telepathically to it?
I'm going to allow that because you know it's there and you are like looking, you know where it is because of the light refraction, that you can attempt to speak telepathically with it.
It doesn't have to share a language with me, it just has to be able to, it just has to have a language.
Sure.
And it can talk back to me.
Sure.
This is a Kalashtar thing. Please don't be alarmed. I would very much like to help. Resolve this situation. You can talk back to me if you would like to.
Was that out loud or is this all split second?
I'm speaking to them telepathically. You won't be able to hear the response, but I
But it's
probably
real time.
would talk out loud.
Oh, okay.
Just to check one thing, because they don't, what it said about sharing a language. This is something that can only communicate in images. Does your telepathy mean that that would get transformed into words, or? I'm gonna say that that does shift it into words.
Brilliant.
Because it's speaking telepathically, and you don't need to share a language, but as long as it understands a language, it can be. Yeah. It's gonna be very monosyllabic.
Maybe the words could be descriptions of images.
I think what you get. Picture is worth 1,000 words. So here are 1,000 words. You just get hold. Cold, want warm. Hold.
It's very cold.
I am also very cold.
Should we perhaps switch off the machine?
No.
Why not?
When you took Lakeva, can I communicate an image of Lakeva?
We can try.
Was that a mistake?
Wanted touch. Hold. And then you almost get like a sense of like this isn't a silence, it's an attempt to say something, because then it snaps back into an image, and it just snaps into an image of a mouth trying to say something, just like almost close up, and then snaps back out of that. Didn't want person to go. To the rest of you, there's just like can't even see really anything up there.
I don't think it intended to kill Lakeva. It just wanted to be held.
Well, it's because it is cold.
Do you have a home?
Made here.
Can we take you somewhere warmer?
Roll persuasion.
With advantage.
And guidance.
And goes.
Come on.
And roll the d12 as well. Go on.
Yeah,
double one.
just flip your dice tray.
We all have special skills.
20,
Just punching.
26.
I'm failing to do monk abilities. That's
Yeah.
my special skill.
What you get in response to that is actually just hold.
I can if you won't hurt me.
Holding hurts.
Maybe if we find more people like you, it won't.
Don't understand.
Maybe if we find more people like you, you'll be able to hold them.
Where?
I don't know yet. But I have some very... I have friends with a very special set of skills.
Ew. Don't want cold.
We'll go somewhere warmer.
Well, it's still up there. It's not going to move because of the cold.
Okay.
So it still doesn't know where it would go.
If we can make it not cold, it will come with us away.
Perfect.
Does it know about morality or how not to kill people? Is it aware of these kind of a concepts, or will
Yes,
it just?
absolutely.
Oh, good. Oh, that's all right then.
I'm rolling insight on that. I'm rolling insight.
Roll deception and roll insight if you need to, because that is flagrant.
It's a non-natural 20.
Natural one.
23.
You get advantage on that roll.
You can trust her.
It's a non-natural 20.
I know you lied as well.
Yeah, it hasn't really convinced you.
That's
problem
excellent.
Oh yeah, totally fine.
Great. Problem solved. No more killing. Perfect.
The problem is morality is often decided by the person holding that morality, not necessarily the people outside of it. What is moral to our friend upstairs may not be moral to us, and we have to remember, after all,
Who are you to decide?
I'm not saying I am the one to decide, I'm just saying these things have to be borne in mind.
Your argument
These
could be
were
used against
possibly
you.
4 or 5 different creatures that combined into one.
We're not talking about tying people to trolley tracks and asking it to choose which trolley tracks to go on. We're just gonna get it to not kill us, right? Very simple.
It understands that it cannot touch people,
Oh, can't it? Why not?
because if it does, it kills them.
Oh, dear. Unfortunate for it.
I think we have our solution.
If you trust this creature, then I am willing to trust you.
I trust that it won't.
So we take it with us without touching it.
I think the first thing we need to do
Switch off the
is to
machine.
make sure Daria is somewhere safe and that they will not be harmed. We switch off the machine and meet our friend upstairs outside.
I think it will leave as soon as the machine's turned off. Well, and maybe once the ice has dissipated a little bit.
Well, then we clear the way beforehand and make sure that it goes the quickest and easiest possible way.
There is the slight problem that we still don't have a boat, but
Oh, is it still lightning outside? This is such terrible weather. Has the storm died down?
It's
at all yet?
very, very far away now.
Oh, well, might be
The
less likely to
separations between the thunder and the
get
lightning.
hit by
are-
lightning. I would not recommend getting hit by lightning.
It is possible these storms are to do with the cold. It was mentioned earlier they might be connected.
Do you head downstairs? I'm going to very quickly check that the camera still has battery, just
Mhm.
really smooth like that.
Yeah, let's
Yes, we head downstairs.
Good idea.
These
Excellent
ladders
plan.
are very difficult for me. Perhaps some of the more agile could head downstairs, and
Enhanced ability lasts for an hour, so...
perhaps some of the more agile could head downstairs.
I could carry you if you like.
I think I would like to be here to see what happens when it stops being cold.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yes, you
And
stay here.
If Ananta is with me up here, then she can communicate with the creature if necessary as well.
Good.
This might happen
good.
faster than running up and down some ladders, and I am not the fastest.
Good idea.
So who's heading downstairs?
In
Well,
that case, I will.
two of you.
Yeah, do we know where Daria went? Like, where's the sleeping butt?
You've passed the place where there's a bed, where there's a makeshift bed, so you can only assume that Daria basically stayed where you left them, and
See them on the way down.
rested there. Yeah, basically when you get to the area that used to be a kitchen, not quite asleep, but like sat down and slumped over the table, but not quite asleep, facing away, but you're not stealthing, I
No.
presume. So the moment that you start coming down the ladder, I didn't hear any sounds. Did it hurt any? Did it hurt anyone?
Everyone's fine. No need to worry. Situation well in hand, wouldn't you say?
We have a plan.
Wait,
But our
which is-
first priority at the moment is to make sure you're safe.
Right.
The plan will involve shutting off the machine.
Have you killed it?
We are going to dispose of it in our way.
And to make sure it gets out of your lighthouse. Very important.
But can you control it or
Well, our very good friend Ananta, now she's very smart. She has been having a little bit of a chat. They sort of had a bit of a one-on-one and came to a sort of arrangement regarding not murdering anyone, which I think will really benefit that relationship moving forward.
Sorry, it's almost like when part of a dream and another part of a dream just don't match. If you do you trust Donato?
Yes. And what I need you to do, Daria, if you go down to the basement and if you turn off the machine, I promise you I will be stood on the top of the trapdoor and nothing will get past me.
Roll persuasion. Wow.
21.
Okay. And starts going to the trapdoor in this level, down to the ground floor, opens out the trapdoor for the basement. If you're standing guard, like, it's incredibly dark, but the moment that Daria starts going down, casts light, and there is just this little kind of ball of light, which is just their illuminated hand, and you might see little glimpses of things.
Can
just
we jump back up before the machine gets turned off?
Sure.
Thank
You just see little glimpses of metal, really, is when the light's glinting off it, and the light glinting off quartz in what seems to be the dirt walls of this kind of dug out cavern are frozen solid. Upstairs.
Why did you lie? I'm not upset about you lying. You lie all the time. But this was important and you lied. Why?
I didn't lie so much as not give quite the answer that...
So I lie. It was not the truth.
It's
You do not know what will happen when the machine gets turned off, do you?
Well, I believe it will get warmer and that it will leave with us. I don't know if it will be able to control its impulses. I've asked it to. If you can't trust...
I trust you.
No, not me. If you never trust anything in life... She said it was afraid. When it
Yes.
killed her, it was afraid.
Yes.
I think if we go find something like it,
I don't know what it is yet.
that's what you're all about.
That's why I'm going upstairs.
Can't
No.
go upstairs.
Up the ladder.
You can't go upstairs
Why not?
because it's
You know me, it won't even know I'm there.
it's I. You might startle it. Can I at least say you're coming up?
Yes. I'm not going to pretend I'm not there. Unless it's going to kill me. And then I will pretend I'm not there.
I trust that it will not try to kill you. It might just try to give you a hug, which would be quite dangerous.
I would like to know what it is we are setting free on the world before we do.
It's invisible.
Maybe get a better sense of it at least. Warn it I'm coming up, would you?
My friend, image of this.
Joyous, please.
I'm keeping a cat.
Good shot.
Is going to come and say hello. I hope that's okay.
Hold.
Please don't.
Can I just climb the ladder without a check? Might take a minute.
You've still got the inhanceability.
Oh, I can't that.
Yeah, you can climb up the ladder and open up the
What do I see?
trapdoor. You see a lantern room with a smashed lantern. There is a small pile of rope and one chest in one corner, which seems to be up against the only slightly broken external window. There are other windows that you can be opened and shut, but they are currently all shut. And because you're kind of aware something's there, I'll allow that. Again, the light slightly refracts a little bit differently in some areas, and basically taking up about half of the space is just an invisible shape.
So, what else is here apart from the creatures? A chest and some rope?
Yep, chest and some rope, and a big broken lantern.
A big broken lantern.
That's it.
Can it see me?
Well, of course it can see you.
Yes, but how does it see me?
How do you see them? Do you have
No.
eyes? Oh, you can't see them.
No, just no.
Oh, you just know they're there.
Blind sight.
And touching it in any way is simply death.
I
You
don't
can
know.
have a go.
And I would rather you didn't find out. Would you like me to send the cat up?
No,
Because if you're going to test it on anyone, I'd rather you test it on the cat.
I am not testing it on Watson.
I don't have any magical abilities whatsoever.
Okay.
I do have... I can make perception checks to spot hidden things, not with advantage, but more readily,
Yeah.
section-wise. And I do have an ability called Insightful Fighting to be able to see things, see small details. It's again all that Sherlock.
Yeah, it's the Sherlock Holmes fight. Yeah.
What can I glean from this invisible thing, with rolls if you like, I don't mind, whatever, just to get a better sense of what it is.
I would like you to roll history, which is to basically, have you encountered anything similar to this, or is there anything in your past where you could go, oh, this? It's not quite that straightforward, but yeah.
10.
10. You've heard of things called oozes. This is obviously different, but in some ways it's the same. So there's some overlap.
So it doesn't have a solid physical form.
It's a blob.
Yeah.
Can I, while this is happening, get out my tarot cards and begin casting augury
Sure.
to get a sense from the spirit world,
Something
from
is...
the dream, whether
was
this
a
is
good idea
a
or
good
not.
idea or not?
Is this a good idea or not? Sure, I'd like you to cast... So you're casting augury, and that takes how long?
A minute.
A minute? You didn't agree on any kind of timings,
No, we did
you?
not. No.
Right, so downstairs Daria is turning this thing off.
Can I have rolled insightful fighting as well in case needed?
And insightful fighting tells you what?
It means I can sneak attack any round regardless of anything. If necessary. I don't want to, just in case. And it is a contested deception against my insight.
So the thing has to roll deception
Yes.
against your insight, okay. That's a pretty poor roll. Yep. I mean, your insight's not lower than 7, is it?
I can't roll lower than an 8 on an insight check.
Unless you roll a 1.
Unless I roll a 1.
Yep.
And I have rolled a 25.
Well, the thing rolled a 7. You might say it's pretty transparent.
Wow.
It is late. It is very late. Yeah, you can have the advantage of potential sneak attack if you need to.
I don't want to, it's just in case.
There is a series of very deep clunks and shifts. Now, this isn't kind of magic in the sense of everything is suddenly beautiful and bright. The ice begins to melt, is what happens. Daria climbs back up and just doesn't really know what to say, but is very, very quiet and is kind of looking up and not intending on throwing themselves upstairs. But you all realise that something in the air has slightly shifted, slightly changed.
I step behind the trapdoor. So that me, trapdoor, it.
Yep.
Can I say to Daria, I suggest you return down. I will knock 4 times when it is safe to return.
Okay. Thanks. You're really nice for someone who's never met me. Right, and then climbs down, closes the trapdoor.
Did she mean both of us, or...?
Yes.
We are very nice.
I'll stand on top of the trapdoor.
The temperature hasn't wildly changed.
No.
Unless there's anything particular either of you two. The monster isn't going to do anything. The creature isn't going to do anything.
I'm laying out tarot cards. Casting
Augury. And so Augury, you just get kind of wheel, woe, wheel and woe.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing.
That is correct. It's sort of a or nothing.
Because of the different ways that the dream presents itself to you, I'm going to say that in this case, what you see is it's almost like blossom falling from a tree, but obviously there are no trees around, but it's just like the overlap of an image from somewhere else, and blossom falls and it's in little clumps and there's some petals mixed in, and you see, this might sound really hokey the moment I say it out loud, you see about 18, 19, 20, and then they get blown away, and you know that means positive outcomes.
I'm just gonna sort of...
Can you open a window?
Can I open a window?
You can try.
Yes.
Please make a strength check to open a window. They may have been faintly frozen, but maybe it's easier to open them.
One can only hope.
It's not like you struggled to open a balcony door in real life earlier this evening. It'll be fine. It's fair. It was a balcony door I also couldn't open.
13.
13.
Yeah.
There's initially a little bit of a awkwardness,
Mhm.
and then you manage to open it up, and
This is one of the because
one of the external ones. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
You open it up, and air begins to flow in.
Yeah.
And it's not the warmest, but it's not the cold that there used to be out there.
Right.
It's almost like one of the times when you will get, rather than cold sea air, you will get the warm kind of bloom of air from
Yep.
the sea. And that starts to fill and filter through the space.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to read the...
Insighted into their very
Creature.
weaknesses, so you know.
But this isn't their weakness. This is how they are
Feeling.
But there is like a certain... There's shifts, and what you realise is actually it's trying to maximise its...
Surface area.
it's trying to maximise its surface area. And so little holes kind of appear in it, and it splits into different elongated aspects, and it spreads itself across the windows at the back so that as much of this warm air can hit it as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to actually go for the window itself and starts to try and creep out of the window, unless just making sure you're not stopping it or not getting in the way of it.
No.
No.
Let it go. Is it going?
It is going.
Let it go.
I'm not planning on stopping it. If it touches people, they lose their memory. They die.
Yep. It's not going to touch anybody.
It's slowly, and you kind of see the last tendrils of it.
Before it goes.
Ask it how it perceives holding someone. What does it gain from it?
What do you get from holding someone?
Life.
It's going to be totally fine.
And I will leave it alone.
Is it gone?
Yeah, the last tendrils of it, and it sinks. You can, from inside, you can hear a slight sound, which is just the weird slight gooping.
I'm just imagining this puffy nose of
Yeah.
puffy wings across the
Rush,
window.
and it's slowing down, and actually it's basically currently like curls up and around those continual flames.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst the ice is beginning to melt, obviously more so around the flames. Is there anything anyone would urgently like to do before I round things off with a little something?
What's in the chest?
What's in the chest?
Yep.
More rope.
The-
Lighthouse stuff.
The dream said it would be okay.
I trust you.
I mean, it's not going to kill us, so...
I am more worried about the other people it could hurt, but frankly, it deserves to live as much as anyone. Let's go.
Do you knock on the...
As soon as I'm told it's safe.
Cool, so you come downstairs?
It is gone.
Well, it's...
Gone where? Oh, outside. So not gone.
It's not upstairs anymore, so
Right.
as long as they don't go outside for the moment, I think it'll be okay.
Ooh.
I assume it will
Fine.
find somewhere else to go.
Once it warms up a bit.
Thought you said we were going to take it with us.
Yes, that's definitely the plan.
Okay.
You'll see it if it is outside. See if it waits for us.
Okay. Knocks 4 times on the thing and opens it up.
Dora climbs out. Apparently things are okay. Thank you.
It is gone.
Gone how?
Out.
How is that safe? How is that okay?
Well, it's safer than it being in your lighthouse.
And Anta is going to further the continued discussions and find some sort of resolution that is of benefit to both sides in this
Everybody.
dispute. Yes. She's very trustworthy and reliable, so I wouldn't worry.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I don't have anything.
Stew or...
Could you tell us the way to the nearest populated area?
Yes, there's a small fishing town. It's about 2 hours walk north.
We can manage 2 hours.
Would there be a place to report a shipwreck and some potential missing persons at this locale?
Yeah, that's probably the best place.
And there we have it.
Did you ever try dispelling the food?
I don't have that.
Oh. I'll give it a go before I leave.
Thanks. So I'm gonna go and rest.
You should.
Will you, I mean, at some point presumably you'll also want to go back to the nearest populated area to report back. Would you like us to wait for you?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Sure you'll be alright?
Yeah.
Right. And a 2-man job on one person. Very efficient of you. Well done.
Vis-a-vis.
Atlanta,
Yes.
do you feel you have this situation in control?
I mean, it's not in this lighthouse anymore.
I meant from here on in.
It's not in this lighthouse anymore.
She's got it sorted. Reliable, this one.
If you do not need me, then if you require any assistance in repairing the lighthouse, then my services are yours.
Do you need them? Sorry, you're just.
What?
No.
I'm taking this silence to mean it is a difficult decision.
No,
as
I
to
don't
whether
need you.
to depart with me, not bemused looks at what have I done so far.
Don't make any difference to me.
I mean, you said it, not
That's it.
me.
No, I think it is
Yeah.
it's a good idea not to leave anyone here on their own.
2-person job.
Yes, that is the more polite answer.
Seems very sensible.
Joyous is a good name.
You are too kind.
It's often safer also to have 2 in case of unexpected incidents.
That is
Yeah.
exactly what I just said.
Smart.
Maybe we can rest and then begin fixing things tomorrow.
Certainly.
Thank you. As you head out, you can dispel the food and it clears things away. You also notice that it's a bit more slick underfoot because the ice is beginning to melt.
Sure.
What is affectionately called the Vetmia is still hovering around those continual flames. I mean, you could, it's going to be there for a little while, just while everything warms up. But you do also notice that in amongst what wasn't visible beforehand with the storms and the waves were the small husks of some maybe passable small little boats that as the ice melts are being freed
Mm-hmm.
and could be taken to help you get to where you need to go.
Ask it where it will go.
Where will you go?
Warm. Someone holding.
I've heard of a place called the Desert, which is filled with sand. I believe it might be quite warm there, but I'm afraid I don't have directions.
I think be careful who you hold.
You kind of almost just get the sense of a nod. And I think that's a very nice place
Yeah.
to wrap that up. So I'm going to double check the camera.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going!
Yay!
Oh, but it's got a line through the battery, so it's super limited. Okay, let's do this quickly. Right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We're Adventurers Wanted. We do a live show in London the first Tuesday of every month. Not this coming month, though, because from the 2nd to the 4th of August, we will be at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival at Sweet Venues doing a 15-hour show, Banishment. You can see me DMing, you can see Chris DMing, you can see Emma playing, etc. You just are unfortunately not around in Edinburgh. I'm going to pass over to everyone to do some plugs very quickly. But a lovely thing to say about our Edinburgh stream before I forget, because we've only just been able to say this publicly, is it will not just be on our Twitch channel, it will be hosted on the Wizards of the Coast official D&D Twitch channel, which is awesome. It's also sponsored by Warriors of Waterdeep and supported by Ultra Pro Han Cholo, who you can also see a little bit, we've been wearing some of their cool stuff, and for fans by fans. You can come, and I think there might be like 1 or 2 player tickets left. If you actually want to play in it, you better move fast. Otherwise, audience tickets are available. Just check out our Twitter, which is @Adventurers250 for updates on that. And it's only £5 to come and just be part of this lovely, wonderful, welcoming kind of D&D adventure we do. Plugs. Who would like to plug things that they do, or maybe just themselves as a person?
Come see Banishment on Friday, preferably.
Follow me on Twitter if you like science and sometimes D&D. It's at Bundell.
Carry around lots of water in this heat.
Plug for water.
Plug
Chris?
for water. I've got nothing to plug apart from this. We're doing a day with Devoted and Disgruntled, the other D&D in our lives.
Yep.
To do a day of learning about tabletop and joining in gaming and theatre and how they collide and overlap, and as well as that, a chance to learn how to play D&D with lovely people like these lovely people in September at some point. But
It's the Sunday the 29th, and it is at Clapham Omnibus, so a very nice little theatre in South London. Again, check out our website, adventurerswanted.co.uk, for information on any of that stuff. Additionally, if you want to support us and help us out in what you do, you can become a patron. We have a Patreon, which is just, again, /Adventurers Wanted, and you can get homebrews, like the general text and stuff for this one shot will be up there and available to our patrons very shortly. You can get exclusive streams, free tickets to live shows, all sorts of stuff. However, it's super hot. This has been a long and an emotional one, so I think we will end it there with a massive thank you to our players for being really good.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Goodbye.